Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to a live stream with Rachel and Carrie. I'm Rachel Archelaus, founder of the Intuitive Art Academy and multidimensional alignment coach. This is Carrie Roldan, your business BFF and cross-country national coach who just came back from an amazing time in Portland. I'm hopefully she'll tell us about that a little bit. And hi, Katerina. Hi, Guillaume. Hello, everyone. Please let us know you're here. We really love interacting with you. We haven't been here in 2 weeks, so we are really ripe and ready for whatever you have in store for us. If you want to add to things, if you want to ask questions. The purpose of today is we're going to go over our 2023 predictions using intuitive art and see how it paired out, because I definitely have some thoughts. I know Carrie had some thoughts and reflections. We want to hear from you too. How did your year go? And did it match up with what we predicted? Fun. We have yawns already. We are winning.
Yeah, I'm yawning already. Oh my goodness. Well, hey everybody. It's super good to be back. I did not know what we're going to be talking about until right this red hot minute. I'm so glad this is what we're doing. And I have thoughts, and it's not like 2023 isn't over yet. And I feel like a lot is happening right now. So like a lot is happening right now. So I'm also very excited about that.
Me too. Yeah. So if we're going to start with this drawing where we are right now in the year, I think it's super fantastic because, and yes, Jane, we are twinning.
Didn't even plan it.
Did not plan it. No. If you look at the very end of the year, right here, right? So we're probably like right here. We got a couple more weeks left. And look at where the resistance ends, right? So what Carrie is saying is like a lot's happening right now because we're right about to move into this space of beautiful alignment without the resistance. And I don't know about you, but more than ever before, I have been aligning and dropping resistance. Yeah, in a very structured way, which we'll get to, because structure is a part of this year. So I'm excited about what is yet to come too. The year is not over yet. And when we do our 2024 drawing in January, we will recap these final few weeks.
Okay. Well, can I tell you about cross-country nationals?
Yeah.
So this, I don't remember the last time I talked to you, or if anybody even cares, but about the cross-country team that I coach. So one of the things that this team really, really wanted was to qualify for the state meet. And did I talk about this? I don't know if I talked about it.
I don't know if you did on this show.
Okay. Well, it was something that at the beginning of summer, looking at like the girls we had returning, it seemed like maybe it would be possible, but it was still going to be like, it certainly wasn't like, we weren't like a shoo-in. And then some adversity, some resistance, some things came up in 2023, pretty unpredictable things where a couple of like the key returners, girls who I figured we could count on to run some pretty fast times, had injuries and illnesses and things that sort of took them out of the lineup. And so at the beginning of the school year, I kind of took this approach with this team. I was like, well, I believe in truth regardless of circumstances. Let's just go on believing we're going to the state meet, and let's build some state meet momentum. And so we did. And I was always like, we're not doing what we're doing in order to make the state meet. We're doing what we're doing because we love doing it, because we're good at it, because like all of those things. But anyways, at the qualifier for the state meet, we had this moment that I'm honestly still processing, because I'm recognizing that it was like a manifestation Okay, here's what happened. A cross country race is scored by first place gets 1 point, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 3 points, right? So like whatever place you are, that's the number of points you get. And the team, we score 5 people deep, and the team with the lowest score wins. So it's being scored in real time. Like I have an app on my phone. The girls have chips in their bibs. So you can see within a few seconds what the score is, which is wonderful and torturous. So over the course, every half mile, I'm getting an update on where my team is. And we were expected to be 13th or so. And for most of the race, we were 9th. And then for a minute, we were 6th. And remember, 7 go to the state meet. 7 go to the state meet. And as they're now crossing the finish line, they're announcing, which teams have 5 in, and this team has 5 teams in, this team has 5 in, this team has 5 in. Huntington, that's my team, 5 in. And then they list the top 7, and they list Huntington as the 7th. And so I have this moment, and everybody with me, there's a couple of girls and a couple of parents with me, staring at my phone, of this moment wash over me of like complete joy, satisfaction, like tears of like, it wasn't, oh my God, I can't believe they did it. It was, fuck yeah, they did it. Only to like 3 seconds later have the app update, and we were 8th by 3 points. So then it was like not devastation for me. It was a little bit of numbness. Of course, it was devastation for the girls because they didn't all hear that announcement. They didn't have that same moment that I had. Anyways, I'm telling you this because I feel like that whole, like there was so much encapsulated in that moment. That moment of holy crap, they did it. Like I don't know, it was just the weirdest thing. Like it was such a manifestation for me. That feeling was such a manifestation. And of course, what happened after that is, we met with the girls and they were devastated, but it didn't take away from like they did that, right? Yes, they didn't qualify for the state meet, but they had the best race of their life together on the same day, and they ran with all of their hearts for each other. And like that thing that I wanted for them didn't manifest in quite the same way that all of us had hoped for. But that feeling that I got to have, that was the feeling that I wanted, right? So that was beautiful in so many ways, but still, like I'm still tearing up talking about it, like how disappointing they were. But not they were, I was for them. But then one of the girls on my team, who she's very, very, very talented, but she wasn't my number 1 runner all year long. My number 1 runner also was a little bit hurt. So this girl qualifies for the state meet, like without any awareness of like what a big goal that was for everybody else and kind of how hard it is. She's like, oh, what? Like it's hard. So she qualifies for the state meet, and her teammate, who that's been her goal for 4 years, missed it by a couple of points. So I had this like, okay, well, state meet was the goal. We're going, not the way I thought we would, but we're going. And then that little girl qualified for the national meet, which same, right? It was a little bit bittersweet because I knew how important it was to the other girl. But here's the weird thing, and kind of the thing the manifestation that I wanted to talk about is that like I'm staring at, I have this little card. I don't know where it came from, but it says 2023 goals, and I had written 5 things on it. And the 5th thing on there was NXN, which stands for Nike Cross Nationals. I'd completely forgotten that I had written that on there. It's actually like it's in my line of sight right now, but there's something in front of the bottom 2 things that I can't see what they are. And that card came back into my awareness the week that we were going, and I was like, holy crap. Holy crap. We're going to NXN. Not the way that I thought, not the way, but gosh darn it, we're going there. And so I guess I just wanted to share that story. Like, I got what I asked for. Maybe I could have been a little more specific. But, like, everything that I asked for happened, and particularly that moment, those 3 seconds of, like, believing that we were going to the state meet, that was such a powerful manifestation, even though we didn't wind up at the state meet. And so, I don't know if you wanna talk about like, explore that with me, but I just like, I'm grateful for that moment anyways.
I think that's what you get then. Like, you get the knowing that in one reality it happened and you lived in that reality while it was present for you, you know? And ultimately, you did get to where you wanted to go, just not in the same way. And so I think it's all about, well, why did the resistance have to come back when you realized it wasn't your whole team going, it was just one person? So
Yeah.
that's what I would say. If we're going to bring it into this drawing, this green here is resistance. It is exactly trying to conform to what we think and what we want, and holding ourselves back and adding complication to things that don't need to be complicated. And so, why did the feeling have to go away when you thought it was, less people, or you thought it wasn't really working out the same way? Because that was a choice. We don't think it's a choice, and it happens so fast. But those are the areas that we're moving out of. We are moving more into pure alignment without resistance, which is really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. No, I feel it and I get it, and I feel like that's what these past few weeks have been,
Mhm.
is, like, recognition of that and releasing of all, like, the entanglements and attachments.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Rachel, I need to refill my water because all this talking is, like, giving me cotton mouth, so I'm gonna get up and do that,
Okay.
but can you recap the drawing
Yeah.
for us so that people who don't remember can remember?
Of course. Yes. So the what I have written on top of this is, what does 2023 have in store for us? And we started out more of a grounding. And so this is probably like a coming into coming face to face with our current reality, right? What do we have? What do we want? Where are we? Taking stock. And as we move more into the year, we do have this background. It looks like a moon to me, of alignment. And so we're aware of what we want to change, who we want to be, how differently we want to do things, our own way. But then you can see there's this like shadow in front, this like olive green, the color of the shirt I'm wearing, basically, of resistance. So that's my muddy color for like holding yourself back, self doubt, judgment. And so we initially decided, okay, I know what I want. I'm excited about doing it my way. But then we were bringing to the surface all of our limiting beliefs about that. I'm too much. I can't do it my way. I have to do it the responsible way. I got to do this and that. And we saw all the things that could challenge being ourselves. And we lived with that, right? The goal of moving up vibrationally is not just to experience wonderful physical manifestations. It's to be free of limiting beliefs. It's to be free within ourselves, right? And so we are moving out of self doubt and self judgment. And that was going to bring up this idea of radical self acceptance. Radical self acceptance is the way through. It is, no, my way is important. Living intuitively is valid. I don't have to justify myself. I can be myself. I can do what I want. And as we moved through the resistance and as it played less of a part in our daily life, we were finding more structure in our alignment. And so maybe that is having a more solid daily routine. Maybe that is doing something more structured with your time. I will get into examples of all of that stuff for me, because this is all of this came true for me, which is so fun. And so there's more structure, which means there's more ease, because that structure creates momentum, right? It makes it easier to do the things you want to do, and makes it easier to be in alignment with yourself, with your own energy. And so you can see, as we said in the beginning, that resistance goes up pretty much just until the end, but that alignment does poke out more. And so these last few weeks of the year, and I didn't do this on purpose, but I'm glad we're doing this recap today, so you know that you can expect freer self-expression, an easier time making decisions, more physical manifestations in this last part of the year, because you've transcended so much resistance, which is really cool. But it could have made for a bit of a tumultuous year, an up and down year, where you're getting triggered very specifically, so that you can rise above it and let it go. You're muted.
Well, that pretty much happened for me. Exactly. And I remember that, I mean, thank God, when you interpret it the first time, like I remember at the beginning of the year, you saying everything you just said, but I heard it a little differently. Like I heard like, yeah, there will be resistance, but like it's good. And kind of like I saw it as like first half of the year, or like beginning of the year, there's some stuff coming up. Middle of the year is kind of where the gunk is. But like I broke it into thirds in my mind.
Mhm.
But like the last third of the year, like, oh my gosh, all your dreams are coming true. And the reality, and then I remember you later on being like, no, remember the drawing? It goes like almost to the end. And I was like, thank God I didn't realize that going in, you know?
Mhm.
But anyways, all that to be said is, yeah, I mean, some big themes came up for me this year. Some like really, and what it looked like, the resistance looked like was like, I hate this and I can't do this anymore, or I don't want to do this anymore. Um, a little bit of feeling trapped in both scenarios. Like I hate it and I don't want to do it, but I don't have a choice. Right? Like that came up. What do you have, Rachel? What's
I
going on?
don't know what that was. Did somebody like our video? Because did you see that?
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times. Like as we're talking, I think people are giving
Oh
us.
my gosh, I've never seen that before. That is so cool. You guys, thank you for liking our video.
I don't know if it's like, I don't know, because I don't know how they see this, but like during the live stream, if they can give like hearts and thumbs up like they do on Facebook, I don't know. But thanks for the thumbs up, you guys. If it's a like. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, and Rachel has turned into a unicorn. So there she is. Oh, Guillaume saw it too. So yay for your guys' thumbs up. Anyways, all that to be said is that stuff that came up in the middle of the year, like it has been stuff that has come up year after year after year that I like didn't want to look at. That finally this year it was like, look at me and figure me out. And I did. And I didn't die. And one situation is still working itself out, but the other one like worked out better than I expected or that I could have imagined. And there's still a tiny bit of resistance in both situations, but now that I know the drawing, right, I can feel good about recognizing that that is on its way out. And the other thing that's happened for me, and I think it's happened for you as well, is what you talked about in the structure in the alignment. Like so much of that has come in for me. And because of that, alignment is easier and easier and easier and easier. So that's fun.
That is fun. Yeah. And I just want to say hi to Bodil. Hello. Hi, Jane. Thanks for coming in. Hi, Celtic Peasant. And Katarina said, at the beginning of the year, I felt really stuck. In February, the week of my birthday, I attended my first virtual summit, a totally new concept for me, and got to know Rachel. Yes, I remember that. I've been on such a wild ride ever since then, always following the breadcrumbs, ever expanding, aligning, and opening up to possibility. Truly miraculous. Yay, I love that. Okay. And Bodil is saying, I'm currently aligning to power, love, and miracles. So it's good to know resistance is over. Yeah. So obviously, in order for this to be true, we do need to be aligning on purpose to our truth, right? Whatever your truth means to you, trying to feel good, right? And as long as we're doing that, we're moving ahead. It's so fun for me too, because I remember saying in the beginning of the year that the things that we have had a hard time with are going to get easier. And I wasn't thinking about that in the last few months, to be honest. It just sort of left me. But when things got easier, I was like, holy shit, look at that. Because I'm not going to it's a very personal thing what happened, but very miraculous, like night and day. And I can't describe why or how other than that I've been aligning. And I even talked to my partner about this, and all I can say is I've just been meditating more and I've been aligning more to feeling good. And honestly, as we know, that does it. That does it. That brings us above that resistance, just like in this drawing. So that's happened in a few areas of my life, but I would say the most meaningful one is that really personal one. And isn't that always the case? You know, the things that are most personal to us are the most meaningful. And then once we have more ease and flow in those really meaningful parts of our life, it's like everything else gets put into perspective and gets easier as well. So I'm really into that. I also started school this week, you guys. And so just like with Carrie, you know, I've been wanting to go back to school for years. I've been actively looking for a master's program for years. And I finally found the one that I wanted a few months ago and was able to get in really quickly. And now my day is heavily structured, right? So I have a lot of schoolwork. I still have a daily show that I make. I have all my coaching and my teaching and my live streaming. And it's working out. Somehow it is working out. And so I feel so good. I feel like I'm absolutely in the right place in this program. And I felt amazing studying and taking my first quiz in 10 years. And it's just fantastic. And that is a decision that I had doubts about. It was like the people, not Carrie, my close friends, but some people who are very close to me were very skeptical of the decision of me going back to school because it costs a lot of money. It's a big commitment. I'm always doing so many things. And I'm so glad that I did it. It's less money than I thought it was going to be as well. So it's like everything worked out. Everything worked out. And of course, cross country, going back to school, these are all personal things to us. So it's not going to be super relevant to you, but it is the dropping of the doubt, the dropping of the resistance, the finally coming to our truth of who we know we are and where we're supposed to be, what we're capable of. And those are the things that are manifesting at this point of the year.
Can I say something about your going back to school?
Yeah.
Because I think that was so important for you, Rachel. I was never like anti you going back to school.
Yeah.
But I also was a little bit in the camp of like, but you don't need it to accomplish your goals.
Mhm.
And it is a lot of money, right? So I was fairly neutral in like, hey, if it feels like what you want to do, go for it, right? I support you in that. But I think that thing is the thing that is like, but you listen to you, right? And that was the thing that was so important about that decision for you. It wasn't like whether or not you need it or how much it cost or like which program is going to be the perfect program. It was about finally getting to the place of like, this is what I want to do. And so I'm going to do it. I'm going to trust myself. And what happened as a result of you making that decision was like nothing short of miraculous, right? It was like that was a place in your life where you knew you were aligned with going to school, but you resisted it for all kinds of different reasons. And once you finally dropped the resistance and said, I'm just going to do it, resistance in so many other areas of your life just fell. And that's the cool thing.
Yeah.
So it's not about listening to other people or about like what's logical, right? It's just about knowing in your knower and taking aligned action. And so I just love that. But I do want to say, like, Rachel, you were like, oh, Carrie wasn't doubting it. Like I was supporting you and doing what felt right. But I was one of those people that was like, well, does that really make sense? And it didn't make sense. The only place it made sense was inside of you. And that's the only place it matters.
And that's the thing that's really accessible to everyone here. It doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. It doesn't even need to make sense to you. I do not want to be a clinical psychologist. I don't even really want to work in a lab doing research for other people. I want to work for myself, but I want to be able to do the kind of research that I want to be able to do, which is what I'm learning to do right now. And I want to go on to get my PhD, which I need a master's for. So there's personal reasons for me, but that's all you need. Listen, I have had the wackiest life. And if I needed to justify anything to anyone else before making decisions, I would not be here right now. So just do you. And today's show, actually, on the Daily Alignment Show, is how to have unlimited confidence. That is something that will help you in this area. So definitely go check that out if you need some more confidence.
I interrupted you explaining the drawing, but
No, we were done.
oh.
Yeah.
Well,
so what's next, or what questions do you have about this past year, right? How do you best take advantage of those last few weeks where we don't have this baggage? You know, maybe for you, it is like a little ceremony of picking up the suitcase in your closet, filling it full of clothes so it's a little bit heavy, walking out into your bedroom and dropping it and just having that moment of like, I'm done. The baggage is gone. We're not doing this anymore. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to align to my truth. I'm going to make decisions for me. You know, some people can bring themselves through that kind of little play acting and have it be really impactful for them. You could do it in your mind. You could just decide, I am going to devote the rest of my life to me, to feeling good, to being in alignment, because I know that that's not only the best option for me, but it also serves the world in the best way, because I'll be aligned and I can offer my overflow. So I would say, make this a big deal. You are a big deal. You deserve to feel better. And I know for me that like being diligent about my daily alignment tasks has helped me through this year so much. And in no way is it a chore to do any of those things. I look forward to them. I love doing them. And for me, getting more systematic about it has really helped. I have an app now that has all the things I like to do each day. And I like pressing them off. I mean, I really do. So if you need something like that, like I never thought I would need an app to remember to meditate, but apparently I did. And it's really, really, really fun to just break out my app and just be like, yeah, I aligned to that. I aligned to that. I meditated. I grounded. And so ask yourself, what can I do for me to help me remember to do this alignment? And how can I allow myself to feel even better? That's a really good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. How can I allow myself to feel even better? What has been happening for me, and I don't know if this is happening for you guys. I was and I feel like it's because we're at the very end of that drawing, right? Maybe this week in particular, at least for me, has been like th- that resistance is like still the teeniest, tiniest bit there. Because what has happened for me the past several weeks, right? As like I've been feeling the resistance leaving and maybe even the past few months, right? Like that resistance has dissipated in that it seems less real. So, you know, when we see situations in our life that are painful or uncomfortable or whatever, like I remember, Rachel, that you recommended that book, Breaking Free from the Money Game. In that book, he kind of says, in those moments, like pause and remember that none of this is real. Like it is not real. And that was so helpful to me. And freaking sucks when you're in it, right? And you're like, well, it looks real and it feels real. And like, but there was enough awareness of like, it is not real. It's like my truth is something different than this. And what has happened over this year is that the balance between like the very real feeling reality that I didn't want and the truth of what I did want, right? Like the balance there has shifted and that I am living more and more in the truth of what I do want. And and the resistance hasn't completely left. And I know this because I am living most of my life, most of my days in the truth of what I do want. And then every so often, I'm worried that I'm not worried, or I'm like afraid that I should be doing more, or right. There's like some of that stuff is still coming up. And this week has been about a lot about that awareness of like, isn't that interesting? So just observing that awareness and like, but I guess that's just it is like, I feel more in that aligned white space than I do in that muddy color space this week. And yesterday was a day of that where I'm a verbal processor, you guys. And so I was saying this out loud like, it's interesting that I'm worried that I'm not worried, but I'm actually more not worried than I am worried. And that's something sort of new for me. Like I normally would be more in the worry and then be like, but don't worry. And what happened yesterday was like an unexpected financial manifestation that was like it was like here's proof that everything is working out for you. And so maybe I'm just asking you guys like what's showing up for you? What signs is your life giving you right now that you're dropping resistance and heading into several weeks? I mean, I'm really hopeful that 2024 is a lot more alignment, right? But at least these last few weeks of 2023, alignment. And for me, that's been joyful manifestations. Going to the national meet, that was like a joyful, unexpected manifestation. Yesterday was like a joyful, unexpected financial manifestation where I didn't have to do anything and money showed up. That's my favorite kind of financial manifestation. Um, so what's showing up for you guys? What evidence are you getting that your resistance is dropping and you're living a more relaxed, aligned, and easy reality? I mean, Rachel, you talked about a little bit. What is like physically showing up?
Well, physically showing up, more money, more abundance, more ease around receiving and spending and investing and saving, um, and which is really fun. I've actually, so I have this really cool advent calendar here. It has like a light in it, and I've never gotten one of those before. but I really splurged on it this year. And I've just been so delighted opening up a new gift every day. So that is just one small little example of um, allowing myself more freedom with money and having more come in to replace it. And also, I mean, it's kind of a bigger metaphor. So I bought that, and then it went on sale. And, we always have that feeling of like, oh, I should have waited, right? I didn't have that feeling this time, though. I've never done this in my life. I wrote to them and I said, hey, I bought this and I love it, but I haven't opened it yet. And it's still in my return window. So, is it possible to like give me an adjustment? And so they did right away without anything. They were very polite about it and they gave me a store credit, which I bought a cashmere hat with that was on my wish list. And so I not only got the very luxurious advent calendar, I also got a basically free cashmere hat. So it's little things like that that show me that I'm in the right place alignment wise. And that's just with money. But seriously, my personal life has never been better. I will say that. You can imagine for yourselves what that might mean. But it's something that for a few years has been very difficult for me. And it turned around on the drop of a hat. And like I said, all I can think was, it's because I've been aligning to more love and more ease and more truth and all the yummy things that we align to when we meditate, when we take time out of our day to try on different vibrations and to raise our mood and love ourselves through resistance. It really, really works. And of course I have school, so I have more fulfillment in my intellect, which is really necessary for me. I really, really, really love neuroscience. I love psychology. I love all these things. And it's been really present for me. Even before I started school, I was reading more books about it and everything. So I'm just in a really great place overall. I feel like every area of my life has caught up with me, right? Like I've been my ambassador for my truth, for my alignment for so long. And I've dropped enough resistance so that even the really sticky areas of my life could catch up. And I feel like if we are diligent with our alignment processes, that is possible. And also, if we don't give in to healing and clearing and figuring out and going deep into the pain. And I just wanted to bring that up because it is a very easy thing to do. But if you are constantly trying to overcome something, maybe it's time to ask yourself, am I spending a lot of my time focusing on what's not going right, thinking that that's going to make way for things going right? Because that's not the way. It is a never-ending pit. And I know if one of my clients is here who just used that term, I'm not even talking about you here. So this is a really common thing, People think something's wrong, I need to clear it. Something's wrong, I need to heal it. Something's wrong, I need to dig in. But actually, you're really just stirring up old stuff and digging a hole where you could actually just, keep walking and move up the hill, and that whole mess disappears. So I figured I'd bring that up too.
Yeah, because I think I have my perspective on that is I've done energy work and experienced healing, right? And I imagine that you have and other people have too, but I really like what you said about this like personal situation, like being healed, right? Without you doing healing work. And I think that's what we're talking about. Like first of all, our bodies are constantly healing themselves, right? We don't even know it. I don't know that I'm going on with my life, not aware of how many different things that my body is taking care of for me, right? Like same, I noticed this in particular, like in my household when one of my children gets sick and I don't, or when like something happened where it's like, oh, I'm sure we're all exposed to the same things, but my body healed that. Or like, I didn't have to do any healing work on that. Like I just went about my life aligning. And I like looking at it that way because I don't think that, and I know you talk about this too, like healers, like healing is awesome and it happens all the time. We just don't need to dig around in our wounds in order to heal them.
Healing is coming back into alignment.
Yeah.
And so I'm not dissing the healers out there. You're doing incredible work and you're providing people an opportunity, a permission slip to come back into alignment. But that's why I said, if it's a persistent thing where you are spending most of your time in the crap, then you're not focusing on coming back into alignment. You're focusing on the crap, right? And so the crap will grow, and we don't want that. We don't want that. We want to come back into alignment. So find a way to do that. Like in your path of least resistance, you're aligning, you're feeling better. You may get an inspiration to work with a healer. You may get an inspiration to do a treatment, to have a medication, to go to a doctor. And that's wonderful because that's your path of least resistance to your alignment. But again, if it's a persistent, not good situation where you're feeling bad most of the time and you're trying to uncover sources and things and it's just consuming you, that's not helping you.
I just think of this in the context of the work that you and I do with clients, Rachel. And it's like one of the most fun things in the world when a client comes to me and is like, well, I'm pretty sure I have a block around this. Like, I want to discover
Yes.
that block. And then we just completely change the subject or go somewhere else. And whatever block was there disappears. So congrats, you're healed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did use this analogy in a session the other day that was like, okay, so you're walking down the street and there's a guy in a monster suit and he's on the street. Well, you don't need to make him go away in order to walk around him and keep going, you know? So yeah, you get to choose. And if you keep your eye on the prize, you will get there. You will get there.
To use your monster suit analogy like a little bit further, when if you're walking down the street and you see the guy in the monster suit like out of your periphery, right? And you're like immediately like you're aware that there's something you're afraid of. There's aware like something to be scared of. And you're at that point you're like fixated on that, but you also are afraid to look directly at it, right? Because that seems even scarier. Um and one of the things that can happen, right, is when you look at it, then you realize, oh, that's just a guy in a costume. I'm just going to avoid that. Like sometimes it's like, it can just be as simple as that. Like, oh, there you are. I'm going to go the other way.
So true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why we're talking about that because we came in the context of the drawing, but that's what always happens here.
I think it's just reassurance. Like this doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be painful. It doesn't need to be complicated. As Abraham says, your cork will float. Your vibration will naturally rise if you give it the proper environment, right? Epigenetics, same thing happens inside of our bodies. We naturally heal if we give it the proper environment. So this is all right, like fractal, we are all the universe, and like all that stuff is really real. So give yourself the proper environment to thrive. So listen to yourself, give yourself the gift of believing in who you are and loving yourself and treating yourself right, you know, and meditating and aligning to the things that you want and making the decisions that match up with your truth. And just watch what happens. It's really incredible, as Bodil is sharing in our chat, right? So Deep breath. You can do it. It is amazing. And hopefully you're already experiencing this. Hopefully you've already experienced a year where very naturally you have felt less resistant. You are feeling more free. You're getting more of what you're asking for. And it's just going to keep getting better. I actually did a video reading for just the people in our coaching group the other day, and I posted it, and oh man, it was really, really, really good. Next year's even better. We will do one of those readings for our entire live stream group here in January, but if you really want to see what is in store for 2024 for me, then you can join our coaching group at intuitiveart.com/membership. And get in now. And in fact, it is a great way to support yourself in creating an environment to help you get everything that you want, because that is what we help you do.
I was going to say that. And I was also going to say these last few weeks are about dropping resistance. And Rachel, I have had a similar experience to you in terms of my spending and receiving. Like, both of the spending has always been hard for me. And because of that, receiving has also always, like, I wanted to like receive before I spend is the way that it tends to go. And I'm not saying that I've been like, I'm not buying like a Maserati on a credit card, but I am recognizing I've been like spending like you on the advent calendar, right? On things that I really want without fear. And out of a place of alignment, like knowing everything is working out. And I guess I'm saying that because I don't know if joining our group feels like a big investment for you guys. But if it is aligned, then you can relax and know this is where you're supposed to be. It really is. It's such a nurturing. There's a word that isn't coming to me, but it's like I'm thinking like petri dish, like something. It's just a place energetically and vibrationally. It's a magical place. It's like a womb, like creative space. And I'm looking at what Bodil said about Istanbul, and I'm remembering our group call where like we just celebrated the manifestation of that and who she was being, even as she was telling us about it. And this is the kind of room you want to be in. So that's it. If it feels aligned, do it.
Yeah, we welcome you. Yeah, another big thing that happened for me this year is what's going on in my mouth. I'm in my braces era. It's not technically Invisalign, it's Spark, but it's basically the same thing. And I had to have a very scary dental thing happen too in order for this to go down. And I did it. Like, I conquered my fears and I let myself have what I want. Like, my desire to have what I want was bigger than the fear that I had. And I'm so happy about that. So happy about that.
Even your teeth are coming into alignment.
I know. I love, it's just the perfect thing, right? The more in alignment I become, the more in alignment everything becomes. Well, you can't get away from it.
I know you call them trays, but my kids, they have Invisalign and they call them aligners. Like, they got a new aligner. So you can think about that every time you click one into your mouth.
I know. It's so funny. And honestly, all right, so this is my resume for the year. I've now been working out at Orange Theory for just over a year, and I have not tried to lose weight. I have not tried to gain muscle. I haven't done any like progressive overload outside the gym. I just go there and I do what they tell me to do. And I did start running a little bit, which has been really fun. But again, I don't have like any goals with that. I just enjoy it. And I have lost weight and I do look better and I have put on muscle and I love my body now. Like, I didn't hate it before, but I was looking a little poochy, like not as fit as I would have liked, not as fit as I used to be. And so I was looking in the mirror a couple of weeks ago and I was like, hey, I really like this. I really, really like this. Like, this is great. I never thought I needed to lose anything more, but I'm like, I'm really happy. Like right now, like everything looks really great. And it's amazing when you do something. I signed up for Orange Theory because I really like intense physical activity. My nervous system benefits from that. My mood, my mind, all of that. And I like the style that they do there. And also my whole neighborhood goes. Um, so I was getting more community as well. I didn't know I'd get all these other things too. And so it's just really cool to look at the investments that you make based on your own desire, right? I didn't have all the answers then. I didn't know all the benefits I'd get from it then, but I just did what I wanted to do. And I'm getting just multidimensional results, everybody. This is what we're always talking about. And so I think what's happened for me is like we have this idea of a spiral, right? We're moving up the spiral. We're coming face to face with similar issues again and again, hopefully from a higher vantage point, like with Carrie, having a pause, having space to say, oh, I'm observing this now. I'm not just reacting. And for me, I kind of feel like I've come at lots of things I've thought about for a very long time, maybe my whole life. And I'm just getting the good stuff. Like, I'm just getting the good stuff, all the good stuff being dropped in my little office here for me to enjoy. And that's really cool. And I love helping people experience that for themselves as well. I really love that. I love being a coach. I love being a teacher. I love doing these live streams. I love just being a regular person who's experiencing things and sharing it. And I can't even, like, all the things I've experienced this year and like reap the rewards of have just been absolutely insane. And I love it. I want it to keep going.
Same. And something popped into my head that Abraham says, which is what you desire and do not doubt must be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got me thinking about the past few weeks for me, and how I think something really, really cool happened that I was verbalizing to a friend, and I was saying, like, the funny thing is nothing has changed. Like from where I was 2 months ago to where I am now in terms of like this difficult situation, nothing has changed. Except for that I have. Like 2 months ago, I was embroiled in fear and uncertainty and desperation, and like I was in like some shit. And like my outside circumstances hadn't really changed, but I've changed, right? Like I just in being in it for long enough without freaking out, without like just being in it and choosing to align to what I wanted, right? I felt differently. And that was enough, right, to help me act or not act from a place of like okayness. Crap, I lost my train. What were you talking about right before? This happens all the time. I shouldn't be shocked.
Your wins, your celebrations,
Yeah, but
your pause, your ability to observe.
yeah, all of that's true, but I was going somewhere. I was going somewhere, guys. What you it's back. Just have to talk about it long enough. What you desire and do not doubt. So I think a fun thing to think about for these last few weeks is like, what could I allow in? Right? What could I? Because I know, like, for me, there's a lot of stuff that I thought, like, okay, I have to settle this way. Like, if I want this, I have to also settle for that. Or if I want, so I was in a place of not settling, which just meant like nothing was coming in, right? Like, I hadn't quite tipped the balance yet of like, I can have this without that. I could have only this. I could choose, and that's what you're saying, Rachel, like just good stuff dropping in my lap. And so that's what I want to like challenge us these last few weeks is like, what good stuff could you really allow to drop into your lap? Like without doubt, without resistance, without thinking it has to come with crap. Um, and that's a fun place to be.
Yes, it is. I love it. And more to come next year. More to come. I do have 2 spots open for my coaching. So if you're interested in coaching with me for 2024, go to rachelarchelaus.com and go to my coaching page and look through my client results and what I do with people and fill out the form. And if I think I can help you, I'll get back to you and we'll chat. I know like what we're saying. Sometimes when we talk, I'm a little like, do you like hearing about how lovely my life is? Or is it really annoying? Like, where are you? Are you wanting to be inspired by ease? Or are you thinking like, oh man, that's nice for her, but I can't have that. Because if you are in the latter camp of like, that's not for me, which I don't know if any of you are there, you are all pretty confident in being a creator. But I love what Carrie is saying, like really and truly write down the things that you'd like to experience, identify how those feel in your body, and do a little experiment, right? Let's go to school together and experiment on ourselves. What happens from committing to feeling that way for at least 30 seconds every single day until the end of the year? Because it's really, really, really going to help, right? What we need to do is identify what magnet are we being? Am I being a magnet for being a victim? Am I being a magnet for having excuses? Or am I being a magnet to what I actually want? And your magnet is how you feel. So ask yourself throughout the day, oh, what's my magnet right now? What's my magnet right now? What's my magnet right now? And change it. I would like it to be this, so I am going to feel this way, right? That's something you can do. It doesn't cost anything, just a little bit of mental space, right? But you can do it and it'll really help.
This is maybe too much information, but one of the easiest ways for me to do that is every time I go to the bathroom. Like, because it is like a disruption in my, right? Like I have to get up, I have to go there. And so if I just think every time I go to the bathroom, I'm going to align to what I want. And I have a very specific thing that I'm aligning to right now. I mean, how many seconds of our day is that, right? 30 seconds at a time is still, that's focused alignment. That's focused alignment.
Yep. You can build momentum with less. So yeah, so fun, right? Give it a try. And just remember to give yourself what you want right now. So feel as if you have it right now. And that'll get you there. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your comments. Thanks for sharing your wins and your year and how it felt to you. Thank you for being on these live streams. We really appreciate you. And we will see you next week. We're very excited. And go check out the Daily Alignment Show because today's all about confidence and it is very relevant to what we talked about today.
It was really good today.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.